Hello, my name's Steve Blair and I'm the writer of the East Neuk pirate stories, and today I'm going to read our very first book, Pirate Bertie's Bother with Boats, and we've got our very own Pirate Bertie to come and listen. Hello Pirate Bertie.
Hello.
You comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. Pirate Bertie's Bother with Boats. Bertie the pirate was fearsome and bold, with an eye patch and cutlass sharp and cold. On his shoulder a parrot perched and squawked. In his treasure chest jewels were tightly locked. He owned a spyglass and a pirate's hat, and in his back pocket was a treasure map. But Bertie had a problem as sure as can be. He had no boat to get him out to sea. He wanted a pirate ship with sails and masts that would zip through the water sound and fast. A ship which must be strong and handsome, with a deck, a cabin, a bow and transom. He wanted a crew brave and cutthroat, but how would he get them if he had no boat? Well, Bertie had a plan to put into motion that would finally give him his life on the ocean. He would scour the harbours in all of Fife to find a vessel to begin his sea life. Yes, he'd travel as far as his mother allowed him, and maybe even as far as Kincardine. His first port of call was a great idea. He'd take a walk along Petticoat Pier. There was shining sea and salt in the air, but boats for sale, neither hide nor hair. North to St Andrews was the next course of action. Surely up there he'd gain satisfaction. He gazed on the vessels on the golden west sands, but all of the boats were already manned. And worse was to come as he sat on a wall. He was bumped on the head by a wayward golf ball. What do boy pirates do when they're full of remorse? Why play 18 holes at the famous old course? Then he was off down the coast into Crail. Surely this was the place where his quest wouldn't fail. And here he was given a glimmer of hope. A fine-looking schooner with its own telescope. This ship was for sale and made out of wood, and painted and washed to make it look good. But on closer inspection, the timber was rotten. If this went to sea, it would sink to the bottom. So back home he came to the town of Anstruther, for though he was a pirate, he still missed his mother. And he found a fine ship with a strong-looking hull, a tall wooden mast on which perched a gull. But as Bert climbed aboard, he stopped with a judder. Lo and behold, this boat had no rudder. And while Bertie the pirate still had no ship, he cheered himself up with some Ainster's fish and chips. So he filled up his tummy and left his plate clean and continued to search down an old pit and ween. Down the steep steps, nipping port, dashing starboard, ran Bertie as fast as he could to the harbour. He bobbed in and out, searching faster and faster. Had a cup of tea with the harbour master. But pit and ween wouldn't finish his troubles. The boats were all filled with fish to the gunwales. This running about had left Bertie's feet swollen, but luckily it's not very far to St Monan's. He passed by the windmill on the coastal path, skipped over the salt pans with a gleeful laugh. But once at the harbour he began to wail, for the boat they were selling had a moth-eaten sail. Into the doldrums pirate Bertie descended. Was it too much to ask for a boat that was splendid? And now that his ship seemed too far out of reach, he decided to go for a walk on the beach. His favourite place for a stroll, by the way, was the beautiful beach in Ely Bay. As he trudged past the driftwood washed up by the tide, from the corner of his eye, something he spied. Could it just possibly be the end to his troubles? Turn the page and let's see. Yes! Here was a pirate ship strong and proud, with no holes in the hull and a well-made bow. It didn't have fish in every nook and cranny, just a few to be cooked in the well-stocked galley. And something else which filled Bert with glee was the solid rudder turned by the ship's wheel. Up on the mast were some fine strong sails. Even better, the sign which read, "Ship for sale." Bertie ran home quickly to tell his mummy and collect his hoarded pocket money. Then back to Ely as quick as a flash to pick up his boat and hand over the cash. "I now have a ship," shouted Bertie. "Hooray! This truly is a momentous day." And now was the time to pick a fine crew, and soon he could bid dry land adieu. So he placed an ad in the East Neuk Times, "Pirate seeks crew, the seafaring kind." And soon Pirate Bertie had offers galore, and he lined them all up to inspect of the shore. There was Anna the deckhand and Sammy the cook, who could hold 3 pots on his handy hook, and Spotty Jim, who looked like a Dalmatian, but was also a dab hand at navigation. There was Joey the boatswain, First Mate Roy, and Dan the mischievous cabin boy. Isla the gunner, Carpenter Eck, were taken aboard and gathered on deck. Then Pirate Bertie had the anchor raised, and the boat set sail with onlookers amazed. So Bertie began his life at sea, though he promised his mum he'd be home for his tea. The end. Well, I hope you liked that story about Pirate Bertie, and if you did, I'd love you to visit us and tell us what you thought at our Facebook page, at East Neuk Pirates. And if there's anyone else you think might like it, you could send it along to them. Well, Pirate Bertie, what did you think?
Walk the plank.
Oh my goodness.